Welcome to Bible Biker, where we take the Word of God
and hit the road. You're watching another episode of Riding with the Word. Well, hello there. Pastor Tim here with another episode of Bible Biker. Today we're going to cover Matthew chapter 9. But first I want to talk about what inspired that. This week has been a challenging week for me. It's one of those weeks where there was just a lot going on in life. And some people close to me were dealing with some health issues, and I'm sure many of you have been at that moment in life where there's so many problems and so many people around you that are hurting that you seek to help and serve and love. And it can seem very overwhelming. Even whenever you get to where you're able to help one person or take care of their needs, it seems like another need pops up, and you realize that no matter how hard you work, the more people you love, the greater your family is, the bigger your church is, the bigger your community is. The more people you surround yourself that you love and care for, you're going to realize the needs greatly outweigh what you are capable of. And of course, we all know we're called to lean on the Lord, not only in those moments, but all moments of our lives. But as I was dealing with these own issues myself, worrying about how I was going to provide for those I feel led to take care of, I was reminded of Matthew chapter 9. And in Matthew chapter 9, Jesus has, of course, been preaching and teaching, and while he's continuing his message, a man approaches him, and he says, "Jesus, my daughter is sick and has passed away." And he has such a tremendous faith, because even though his daughter's passed away, he still trusts that Jesus can solve this issue, and he's come to Jesus to ask him to save his daughter. And Jesus tells him, go ahead, and he'll travel to his house and tend to his needs. Wonderful news. And as Jesus is traveling to save this man's daughter, it's when the lady with this crippling blood disease approaches Jesus, and she just trusts that if she can just get to Jesus and touch the hem of his coat, that she can be healed. And of course she does this, and again she trusts in the power of Jesus and seeks him out. And Jesus, even though she said nothing to him, senses her there and declares to her through her faith in him she has been healed. So in other words, Jesus is on his way to help somebody when somebody else comes to him with a need, and Jesus provides for that need. Well, shortly thereafter, he gets to the man's house, and he does the wonderful miracle of raising this daughter of this man that came to him back to life. An amazing thing that Jesus has once again saved the life of another person. And as soon as he departs from saving this girl's life, two men cry out to him, "Son of David." They know him to be, or trust him to be, the Messiah. They cry out to him, "Son of David." And they are blind, and they're coming to Jesus for help. And of course, Jesus is moved to help them, and he gives them back their sight. And not long after that, Jesus encounters another man who is possessed with the devil and is unable to speak. And of course, Jesus heals this man, removes the demon from him, and he begins to speak. And what we see here is all these people are trusting on Jesus, or are led in some capacity to encounter Jesus, and Jesus is able to save them. But we see through the course of a single day, all these people that Jesus is encountering and having the opportunity to help and save, to show his glory, to show the glory of God and his saving, healing power. And as it continues, Jesus looks, and he just sees a great multitude of all these people that have needs, that are sick, that have serious problems and ailments, he cries out. He says, "Truly the harvest is great, but the laborers are few." And he says to his disciples, he says, "Pray that God will send help for his harvest." And this is powerful because one, it shows Jesus, he's moved by compassion, seeing all the needs of everybody. Now, of course, we have to understand Jesus is God, and he has the power and has done everything necessary to save us. But he's moved from compassion because he sees all these needs. And he talks about it as if it's a harvest, and it's the Lord's harvest. And the Lord is going to reap all his fruit. And we are his fruit. He come here, Jesus Christ came here to reap us, to save us. We are his fruit of his labor. He saved us all. But what's wonderful is God has done more than save us. He's allowed us to be an active part of his community, of his kingdom. And he's praying not only that we will come to him to be saved, but he's praying that we will become part of his kingdom, feel his presence in our life, and accept his saving grace and love, and see that our sickness or our ailment that has led us to him to save us so that he can reap us as his fruit, is also sending other people. He looks in the world and sees all these sickness, all these ailments, and it's an opportunity that God has sent us to these people in our communities, in our church, in our neighborhoods, in our family. When they have a sickness or an ailment or a need, we have an opportunity to be a part of their life, to be present in them, to show our love and compassion for them. And even when we are unable to help them directly or heal them of a sickness or ailment, we can just be there for them and lead them to Christ. Show them through our compassion and love, say that we're able to show that compassion and love to them because Christ has first shown it to us. And the harvest is greater. The harvest is Jesus Christ saving us from death and hell itself, forgiving us and paying the price for our sin. So when we look at the world and we see all the problems in the world, whether it be the grand things of war and famine and starvation throughout the world, but even more personally, when we look in our communities and see people dealing with sickness, dealing with financial issues, dealing with relationship issues, we should see that as an opportunity that these people are ripe for harvest, that ripe for knowing that they have a need to come to the Lord, just as all these people in Matthew 9 came to the Lord because they had some type of issue in their life and they knew they had a need. They were ripe for harvest to come to Christ so that his glory could be shown to them. So when we look out in the world and we see all these problems, all these issues, and we get overwhelmed, don't get overwhelmed. Look at them as an opportunity. Look at them as the fields are ripe for harvest and an opportunity to share the love and compassion God has put in your heart, to share his love and grace with them. And even though we're not going to be able to solve all the problems in this world, pray that God will send the help that is needed. And maybe you are that help. Maybe you are that solution that God has sent. Maybe you are that answer to somebody else's prayer. So when we look out in the world and see all these problems, trust that the Lord has provided a way to save them, for them to come to Christ, for them to come to his grace, his glory, and his saving salvation through his gospel. So I hope you've all enjoyed this episode of Bible Biker, and as always, I'm going to leave you with pretty footage of the area around here. And if you have any ideas for Bible topics you'd like me to share with you, just leave them down below in the comments. Or if you have any suggestions for pretty roads to travel around in Allegheny or Ashe, I'd love to hear about it. And as always, thanks again for watching. God bless.